Welcome. It's great to have you all here with us. You know, they say that with age comes experience, with experience comes wisdom, right? And I've got some age, and I was asking my instructor the other day, but why don't I have more wisdom? And he said, well, wisdom's been chasing you, but you've always been faster. So I guess it's inspiration. All right, a little bit of science news. So researchers at a university in Scotland have solved a long-running scientific dispute about the origin of the Silver Pit crater beneath the southern North Sea. So this is a crater down at the bottom of the ocean nearby Scotland, and they've had a debate going about, well, how did this crater get there? Well, they, after their study, have been able to conclude that it was created by either a meteor or comet striking, they say, about 43 million years ago, right at that point. They estimate that when it struck, it created a 330-foot wave from that asteroid or meteor hitting. And so that's some recent news about something very old. So, all right, well, it's time to get it over to Dr. Joshua for Acellus News.
It's an exciting week here at Acellus. We have school districts from around the nation that have traveled to Kansas City to be part of our Acellus Administrator Conference. And we're seeing a large number of districts that are beginning to offer Acellus Gold to students both in the classroom and for students who are learning from home with hybrid learning. Let's take a look at a few of the highlights. I'm here at the Acellus Administrator Conference here in Kansas City, Missouri, where school districts from all over the United States have flown in to hear the latest updates on Acellus and how they can implement it in their school district.
So we are from Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District, and things are going amazing. This is my second time at an Acellus conference, and I was extremely excited to come back, and it does not disappoint. I am very excited.
We've used Acellus for about 2 years. It's going incredible. We actually have grown from just using it in an online school to credit recovery to credit advancement. Our talented and gifted kids use it for languages and AP placement. We have an AP calculus right now. So it is growing, 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 and we're just fighting to keep up.
We have students that are doing 10 to 19% of progress each week in different classes along the way, and actually going to be able to graduate on time in some cases. So it's been very successful for us.
Let's hear it for our Acellus schools.
All right. Well, now I'm pleased to introduce the host of ScienceLive, Dr. Roger Billings, along with co-host Pajet and Monet.
There she is.
There I am. There he is. Hi.
Wow. What a fun week.
I know.
We have some really neat people in Kansas City this week.
We do.
Yeah, we do. And it's fun. It's really exciting to see what they're doing with Acellus. And you know, the people that are here are working with some of the most wonderful children on the planet. And that just really excites me. I wonder what Dr. John's been up to. Shall we find out? Let's hear from Dr. John, huh? Okay, there he is. And here comes my mic. Good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how are you doing? What are you going to tell us about today?
I'm doing pretty good, but I've got some bad news.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
One of NASA's spacecraft crashed into an asteroid. Completely ruined. That's true. Well, it's not that bad because they were trying to crash into the asteroid. Some of you might remember, I'm talking about the DART mission. And this happened several years back in 2022.
Oh,
and thank goodness it wasn't one of those expensive satellites, you know, like our James Webb Telescope. But it's exciting because just recently they determined how much they were able to move that asteroid. And I want to talk about that, but I think we better start by jumping back and looking at the DART mission and remember what happened. So the idea was they fly the DART spacecraft all the way out to the asteroid, and then they fly it right into Dimorphos, which was the little moonlet that was going around the bigger asteroid. The bigger asteroid was Didymos, which was only about 1,000 feet across, and Dimorphos is only about 500 feet across, so relatively small, but they were able to do it precision perfect and crash into it. And it sounds, you know, simple. It's NASA, they do these kinds of things, right? But if you think about what that means, there's this asteroid binary pair going around the sun, and they have to fly all the way out there, and then they're aiming for the moonlet that's going around it, and they have to have it timed perfectly, so right at the right moment they come through and they hit it. And they were able to pull that off. And the idea of the mission was to see if something like this could be used to steer asteroids, to move them to a different orbit in case there was an asteroid that was actually going to hit Earth. You know, like in the movies, we always got to be ready. So I want to show you a video from the DART mission as it's approaching the asteroids. You can see down there Didymos and then Dimorphos, the little one they're aiming for, and it's coming around, and they're getting closer and closer, and this is sped up frame by frame. But you can see as you get closer, it's kind of almost like a big rock pile floating together, and then we slow down frame by frame as we're getting closer, and then whack. And the last image didn't come through all the way because it didn't have enough time to send. But it hit the asteroid perfectly. It was a wonderful success, and the plume came off. They had another little cube satellite from the European Space Agency that was following behind to take pictures. And that last frame that was the full frame was, it looks like, you know, just gravel, but that's about 100 feet across. So those little rocks are actually big rocks. And after it hit, they pointed the Hubble telescope right at the asteroid and looked at what happened. And here are 3 different frames. You can see 22 minutes after, there's a little bit of a cloud, and then 5 hours, and then 8 hours, the cloud got bigger and bigger. And they were able to tell they really hit it, and a lot of stuff came off. Well, they've been studying the orbit, and they found that they changed the orbit rate of the moonlet around Didymos by about 30 minutes. And then they changed the actual orbit of both of them together by 1.5 seconds. So that's only a teeny bit, isn't it? Especially when you realize that the orbit of this binary asteroid cluster is about 2 years. Mm-hmm. So out of the 2-year orbit, they changed it by 1.5 seconds. It's like, oh, then it's not a very big change. But when you think about it, it wasn't going to hit Earth, and they didn't want to change it too much and make it hit Earth or something. So it was a good test. They carefully chose an asteroid that wasn't going to get changed to hit Earth for sure, because that would be another kind of movie, you know, that we don't want. But even though it didn't make a big difference, it actually proved a lot of concepts. First of all, they hit the moonlet and changed its orbit around the bigger asteroid, and that changed the orbit of both of them. Because really, together, they're orbiting the sun, and their center of gravity between them is what changed. And so it changed the orbit around the sun. But then also, we understand the physics, or we proved that we understand the physics, right, of this situation. So if we were going to try to change an asteroid, we could actually figure out now how fast would we have to be going, and how heavy would our spacecraft need to be. And the other really interesting thing was when the DART probe hit the asteroid, a whole bunch of stuff came off, and they calculated that that doubled the impact, or the change that the impact made when it hit. And so that's really interesting because the material makes a big difference too. And why does this matter? You know, we don't know of an asteroid that's going to hit Earth, but we're trying to find out more and more. There is an asteroid, though, coming in 2029 called Apophis. And this is one they discovered back in 2004. And when they discovered it, there was a chance it was going to hit Earth. And it's big. It's, you know, like over 1,000 feet. So it would be a really big deal. And they've been tracking it really carefully. And now they're sure it's not going to hit Earth in 2029. And there are a whole bunch of scientific missions going to explore it and study it as it goes by. And I want to show you its path as it comes by Earth. If you look at this map, those dots are our satellites, mostly like our geosynchronous satellites. And it's going to pass so close that it will be closer to Earth than our GPS satellites, way closer than the moon. So that gives you an idea of how close this asteroid is going to be. And again, it's huge. So it's going to be really visible in the sky, you know, like bright like Venus for the people who luck out and are in the night side and have the right angle and everything, they can see that. So instead of it being a disaster, it's going to be something really exciting. But every once in a while, they find a new asteroid, and there's a period where they're trying to figure out, now, is this going to hit Earth? Is it going to hit the moon? And the idea is if we can find it soon enough, then we'll have time to be ready. So NASA's getting ready to launch another surveyor, the NEO surveyor spacecraft, in 2027, next year. And it's going to be looking for these asteroids. We should be able to discover almost all of them that might hit Earth, at least you know, the bigger ones. And so that'll be really, really useful. And so, you know, we can start planning, and as long as we have enough time. But speaking of time, that's all the tech we have the time for.
Oh, wait a minute, though. Wait, I got a question. Okay. I got a question. Incoming question.
Yeah.
So if the debris that was knocked off by the collision had an impact, what if they put a nuclear warhead on the rocket that hit it? Wouldn't it have a greater impact?
I think it would. Definitely, yeah.
So if we could, instead of going into it while it's rotating, what if we went behind and we shot our moon, and maybe we get more sleep every day?
That would change a lot of things about the tide and stuff.
Or we could have R-51 just put a steering wheel on the asteroid.
There we go.
Take care of it. All right, well, thank you very much.
All right,
share
thank
for
you.
him. All right, so I'd like to just know, every week, you know, we kind of throw the same thing at the students.
We do.
So maybe you could just shoot me a little quick message. Are you monitoring there?
I am.
The question is, how many would like to hear from Tobias? How many wouldn't? Just like skip it this week.
What?
You know, I just want to know. This is their
this?
ScienceLive. So yeah. So if you Tobias, yes or no? Just shoot us in some. This is live. You know, this will prove it. All of Tobias's little girls are, yes, Dad, yes, Dad. Yeah, so we got any yet?
Not yet.
So what do you say, Darius? Maybe. Come on, guys, we got to hear from you.
They have to be.
We have the screener guy back there. Is Darius monitoring for us?
No. I can't believe they don't want to hear from Tobias.
You can't believe it?
No, I can't believe that.
Well,
okay, it
don't.
says
So
yes. Samantha says yes.
Samantha said we've got to have at least a quorum of 3. So Samantha's yes, 1 yes. How many no's?
There's not any no's.
You have 1 nose.
Oh my God.
Okay, come on, come on. So that's it, huh?
That one says yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, she's typing right there.
Oh,
Mainly.
his daughter's down
Yeah.
there. Yes, yes, we gotta have that.
She is, I can see her.
Okay, 2 yeses. We need 1 more. 1 more.
It's a slow internet, I guess.
Slow internet.
Oh, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have a lot of yeses.
Those are yeses.
Those are all, it says don't
All
skip
right,
Tobias.
it looks
Don't
like
skip him.
we're gonna have Tobias tonight, and here he is. Barely made it.
10th stop right there.
Aw.
Well, I was hoping to talk about the microcontroller real quick, if that'd be okay. And I was going to talk about a guy that got bored. But then he had an idea. And we're going to talk about a guy named Mr. Boone. Not Daniel Boone, not Benson Boone. Okay, we're talking about Gary Boone. Here he is. So Gary Boone, and he was working at Texas Instruments. We're talking the 1960s, 1970s, and computers, calculators, all these technology with electronics were starting to come out. And we had already gone through where vacuum tubes shrunk to transistors, then transistors shrunk to ICs, or the integrated circuits, so you could have one chip with lots of transistors inside. So electronics were shrinking. It was an exciting time. Well, Gary Boone was working at Texas Instruments, and his job was to work on the chip design. And basically, companies that had things like calculators that they wanted made, they needed special chips. And I'm talking about, these electronic pieces designed for the different computing components. And so Gary's job was to design and create these chips. So calculators kind of like this one, where you got it. Now that might look like kind of a big calculator to you, but at the time, that was incredibly small. A computer that could be so small. And so inside, there were several chips. Usually, Gary would get like a request for 4 to 6 different kinds of chips he would have to design. And the thing was, this company wanted some, this company wanted some, and all these companies wanted their special collection of chips. And so Gary's job was to fly around to these different countries. That might sound really exciting, but it got old to Gary. He went to Italy, Germany, Japan, and met with them. They told him, we want this and this and this. And then he had to go back and design it, and he'd do it all over again. And he started missing his family. He started getting kind of bored. It was like the same thing over and over again. And as he was thinking about this, he started thinking, you know what, all these companies, they want their own custom chips, 4 to 6 chips for all the different things. You have the processing, the memory, RAM and ROM. And as he started to look at the different company requests, he noticed they all really were requiring the same parameters. There were a couple little differences, but overall, it was the same thing. I mean, they were all for calculators. And so he had this idea. What if since I know what all the companies that have given requests need, what if we designed a chip that we put all of these parameters into? Like, we made a chip that could do all of it. And we also put in each of the pieces that it would, instead of 4 to 6 chips, what if we did 1? Okay, now that might sound a little bit like the microprocessor, but it's actually different. And in fact, this is at the same time the microprocessor is being invented somewhere else. But his idea was, okay, so he starts looking at the list of things. So they need a processor chip. Okay, so it's the computing part. We need memory. And there's RAM and there's ROM. And so the RAM is random access memory. And this is basically the memory that is fast and short term. So it's what the computer will have basically for working memory. It can do stuff and it'll be gone, do stuff and it'll be gone. Then there's ROM memory, which is the read-only memory. And this is like permanent. It's inside. You're not going to delete it and change it. It's inside. Both of those kinds of memories, RAM and ROM, okay? And then inputs and outputs. So that's basically, think of a calculator. If you have a calculator and you're having input, maybe it's pushing the buttons. You need to have a special chip that can process that. And what about output? Like if it has a little display, outputting data to that display, lighting up those numbers, okay? So he's got to design a chip that can integrate all of that into it. It's going to be an integrated circuit, but an extreme one. Well, he works with another engineer, and this is the patent diagram that they put together. And they were able, it's kind of hard to read, but on this one chip, they were able to put the different memory, the input-output system, the processing system, all on the same chip. And since they knew the specific things that this chip was going to need to do, they could cut out a lot of the fluff. Whereas like if you have a microprocessor that you're going to use for a computer, you may not even know what kind of programs it's going to have to take on. So you want it like really powerful, be able to do all these versatile things. In this case, It's more, we know exactly what this chip needs to be able to do, so they can refine it to designing it just for these specific tasks, okay? So they get this patent, and here comes the first microcontroller chip from Texas Instruments, and it's the TMS 1802, and it was in September of 1971, actually 2 months before Intel would announce the first microprocessor. So this is the microcontroller, and it's for, specifically, they called it the calculator integrated circuit. So it's an integrated circuit, but it had all this stuff right inside of it. And because they took things like, remember the RAM and the ROM, they put that right into the same chip, the efficiency was 40 to 50 times higher than previous calculator systems they had done. And so one of the first calculators that used this was the Sinclair Executive. Look how small that is. And if you compare it to that one I showed you earlier, that's a lot smaller. They were able to shrink it down. This is a picture they put out to kind of help people understand. So if you look at the top, 1969, you have all those chips. Then 1970, there's the 4 chips that they needed for the calculator. And then finally, in 71, this one microcontroller. And then they would work on that more, and they would come out in 1974 with a new refined microcontroller chip called the TMS 1000. And this one's kind of considered to be the real first, successful microcontroller that hit the market and was sold in large volumes. But it's hard to even fathom how much this was going to be used, because it wasn't just calculators. It turns out there's so many things that started to use it. So if you had some little computer in an electronic, even in for cars, for homes, like your microwave, a little microcontroller that the exact tasks or functions it needs to do, and so you can design a chip that's just for those things, and you can cut out a lot of the extra stuff. And so that's what they were able to do. And one of the things that would come out, and some of us oldies may recognize this. So this, in 1978, the Speak and Spell. And this was released by Texas Instruments, and guess what it had inside? A microcontroller. And this thing, some of you guys are like, what is that? That's the iPad of other times, is what that is right there. But basically, to do this one, you could speak. Well, it could speak a word, and then you'd spell it. It would tell you if it was wrong or if you were right and all this stuff. They had to break new territory in the memory space. And they ended up having 2 memory sections, each that were 120 kilobits of space, which was a lot at the time. And for those of you who don't know what this is like, I'll just play this little thing here for you. Some of us are like, oh, whoa. That's the 80s one. Here's the 90s one. Oh, yeah. Anyway, but this was the first electronic toy, learning device toy with a microcontroller. But it kind of woke up the world to the kinds of things you could do with this. And we go to today, and they're literally all over the world in all of these electronics where we need some special computing, but a certain function or a certain set of functions. And so microcontrollers would eventually go all around the world and change the world. So if you get bored, stop. Maybe you'll come up with a good idea. Thank you. Okay.
All right. So we need a challenge.
Okay.
And to set an example for the students and I have decided to challenge you.
Oh dear. What?
Yeah.
Really?
Right, guys?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so the science fair is coming up.
Right.
And we're learning a lot about microcontrollers. And we're going to learn a lot more. I understand that we have the Inventions and the Protégés have been working on microcontrollers.
Okay.
And rumor has it they're going to talk about one of my favorite ones, which is called the Arduino. The Arduino is a microcontroller that wasn't made back in the last century. This is kind of state of the art. And I think that it would be appropriate to tell on the, should we?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, we're going to tell on the Protégés, because when they started working on this project, neither one of them had really become Arduino smart. They kind of heard of them, but they never really looked at them. And so as they started doing this project, they both got hooked.
Did they?
They both have to have their own Arduino now.
Oh.
It is a thing that a lot of you are going to get hooked on. And so this is the kind of stuff you should get hooked on. It's really, really inspiring. So he talked about how this thing was made and they eliminated all these things. Well, that was back way, way, way back before the microprocessor. Then the microprocessor came out, and then it got better with the Z80, which went into the Billings computer. Bravo. And then they came back around, they said, well, what if we took this microcontroller, which could, it was a little chip, one chip could control a lot of things, and what if we put the microprocessor in it and made it kind of a super microcontroller? And that's what the Arduino is. The Z80 CPU in the Billings computer, now I know, do up your seatbelts, it had 8,000 transistors.
That sounds like a lot.
8,000 transistors in one part. The Arduino, yeah, and I have one too. The Arduino that we tinker with, and that you should tinker with, has, guess how many?
More than that.
Yeah, 9,000?
No.
What do you, come on, give us your best shot.
I really don't know.
Before we challenge you, we just want to hear
I really don't know.
500,000 transistors.
See, I wouldn't have gotten that.
500,000, that's 500,000.
That's a lot.
That is nothing compared to your cell phone. Cell phones are crazy,
They are
okay?
crazy.
But, I mean, crazy wonderful. Crazy in terms of transistors. And we're now making chips with hundreds of millions, even billions of transistors, and that's why they can do so many amazing things. Remember, starts out though, all those transistors are just little on-off switches. And very, very clever minds just keep figuring out one more thing we can do with them. Okay?
Okay.
So now the challenge. Are you ready for the challenge?
I don't know.
Sit up straight. Okay.
Okay.
On behalf of the students watching ScienceLive tonight, we would like to challenge you. They're thinking about projects they might do for the science fair. What I didn't know when I was 16 and working on my science fair project that wouldn't come out till I was 17, I did not know that my science fair project was going to completely launch my career. What if theirs could? When you come to a little microcontroller like an Arduino, it can do so many things, and it's just waiting for you to come up with an idea of something we need so you can solve it with an Arduino. And someone, it's my prediction, someone today besides her is going to come up with an idea that is going to be so valuable, it's going to make you very, very successful. So think what you could do with these pieces. Arduinos can be used for, well, you can use them to make a hydrogen detector, to say there's a leak in a hydrogen car. You can use them for all sorts of different functions. Anything you can think about you'd like to be able to do. It can run robots, it can run lots of gadgets. And we're going to learn more about that, I hope, from the Protégés. But if you were going to say, what is the need that you could solve with an Arduino? Something that if it was there in the store, you'd buy it. What would it be? We're going to give her a little time to think about it, okay? But while she's thinking about it, she wants to throw that same challenge out to you.
Yeah.
So if you have an idea of something that you could do with a microcontroller, tell us. Tell us. And if it's a good idea, build it. Show us.
So if you can sense hydrogen,
I can sense it. Mm-hmm.
Can you sense blood sugar in the blood?
Yeah, actually, it's pretty easy to sense blood sugar, but the problem is getting the Arduino into the blood. Oh, my microphone.
No, that's a,
Can we edit
that's
that
a big
out?
point. No, this is called ScienceLive.
Okay, well, we can't edit
Very
it out.
passionate
Okay,
about this.
sorry about that, guys. But yeah, just think, you got an Arduino, and it can sense the blood. You got to get it inside the body, and you know.
You can put it in a drop on.
Well, we have these little buttons now that we put on, and guess what? They have a microcontroller in them.
Yeah. So.
But they have little probes that just go inside. Yeah. So that one's already taken, but you're on a roll.
We have to have something that's not taken?
If they're already there, then you have to at least figure out how to make it enough better that we will buy yours instead of theirs.
I'm working on
And you
it.
have until the Protégés are finished to come up with this, okay?
Okay.
And now to tell us about the Arduino Microcontroller, it's my honor to turn the time over to these amazing talented people. And I says, you know what? Students have taken time out of their busy schedules to watch this. They don't want to be bored. No, they don't.
Yeah, I heard that.
They want to be entertained. I said, just this once. Can't you guys make it dramatic? Let's see how they did.
Wow.
Have you ever wanted to build something like this? Or this? Or maybe even this?
There's one tiny piece hidden inside of each one of these. A chip smaller than your fingernail. The brain that transforms an idea into reality. A microcontroller.
Today we'll be looking at a microcontroller called an Arduino. The coolest thing about these is how easy they are to use.
If you can put together a Lego set, you can use an Arduino to make your projects a reality.
But I can't!
Please, I beg of you, I need help. My microcontroller has gone missing. I checked the cameras. I checked everywhere. Can you please help me, Mr. Holmes?
Guys?
You may not know me, but can you help me, Mr. Holmes?
Oh, my dear fellow, I know you quite well already. That faint drop of honey clinging to the left cuff of your sleeve. You took your tea at precisely 3:03 this afternoon. Chamomile, I believe. And the trousers, 2 distinct shades of fur. Not one cat, but 2, both impeccably groomed. The longer hairs belong to a Persian, the finer ones to a Siamese, judging by the shoe. You dote on them, clearly, which explains the faint scent of catnip on your fingers. Judging by the attire presented, you are clearly single. But the freshly pressed shirt and the hopeful amount of cologne suggest you are trying to impress someone new. A date, perhaps?
I gave the young fellow some tea to steady his nerves, sat him down by the fire, and asked him to start from the beginning.
At 4:47 today, I gathered the inventioneers to start on a project. I told them, we are going to use this to make a circuit that turns LEDs on and off in order. I expect this to take us 5 months. We gathered components, but then it was dinner time, so we adjourned until morning. After the meal, I returned to lock up, and our secret weapon, the Arduino, was gone. I reviewed every frame of the cameras. Nothing, no intruder, only us in the room. And that, Mr. Holmes, is why I need your help.
Thank you. The facts are before us.
After a few pointed questions, Holmes declared the matter sufficiently clear. He announced we would visit the laboratory tonight to examine the scene and instructed our client to return tomorrow at 8 o'clock sharp.
This one's so simple, even Watson could solve it.
Thanks.
Touch nothing further. Rest if you can. We head for your workshop directly.
Wait, you've already solved it.
Of course I have. The only question now is whether my friend here will see it as plainly as I. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Come, Watson. Let us test your powers of observation. The game is afoot.
So tell me, Sherlock, what is an Arduino?
Arduino 101. An Arduino is equipped with a microcontroller. To understand how this works, let's think of it like a person. We eat food to get energy. That energy powers our eyes and our ears, which tell us about the world around us. We send that information to our brain to make decisions. Then we use our muscles to take action. An Arduino works the same way. It has a battery that gives it energy like when we eat food. The microcontroller is the brain. You can connect inputs like a sensor or a camera that act like eyes and ears, sending information to the brain. And you can connect outputs like a servo motor or an LED that act like muscles and actually do something. All these pieces are quite boring on their own, but when you put them all together, you can build something amazing like this. We learned earlier about microprocessors, like the one in the Billings computer. Let's compare a microcontroller and a microprocessor to make sure we understand the difference. The secret is in the name. A microprocessor is a micro or small processor. It's the brain of the computer. But it needs separate parts for memory, inputs like eyes and ears, and outputs like muscles. A microcontroller is a micro or small controller. It has a processor brain too, but it already includes memory, inputs, and outputs built right onto the chip. Controllers are typically used to control devices like smart bulbs, keyboards, robots, and toys. While the processors may seem more simple, they are the brains in phones and computers. They're more specialized and powerful because they don't have to handle all those extra jobs themselves. That's the big difference, and it's why microcontrollers are perfect for building your own cool gadgets. Ah, here we are, the crime scene.
Let's look at our suspects. Colonel Cody Mustard. Well, at least he used to be. He's an ambitious man with unshakable confidence. Professor Malachi Plum, a young, absent-minded academic. Mr. Evan Green, a timid, sometimes anxious rule follower. Mr. Alvin White, he's the Mr. Clean of the group, always keeping his space neat and tidy. Miss Claudia Scarlett, the only female of the group, making up for the lack of numbers in wit and ambition.
No Arduino. There's no dust. Skid marks. Granola. This floor is false. I've got it. It was Mr. Plum. He entered through the floor here and made his way while eating granola with chopsticks. He somersaulted here and moonwalked here and made his way to the trash can where he stealthily made his way to the Arduino and sinisterly snatched it for his own.
Perhaps we should call it for tonight and look at it in the morning with a fresh set of eyes.
Very well, Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, have you found him?
I have indeed found your perpetrator. It was Mr. Plum.
I knew it. That's sneaky.
Quite to the contrary. Here comes our perpetrator now.
Sherlock.
The lack of calluses on Eric's hands tells us that he has never handled an Arduino before this project. As such, he severely miscalculated its difficulty. Now, last night, as the group left for dinner, our proactive friend, Colonel Mustard, quietly pocketed the Arduino. The sweat marks on the cuffs of his shirt reveal his late-night toil. He returned home and completed the entire project, unassisted, in a mere hour. He rushed back this morning, still warm from the effort, hence the choice of footwear. Modern, sporty, yes, but they also speak of a man with spirit, willing to take risks, provided they serve a greater good. And the trousers, snatched up tight at the waist, he skipped breakfast, and his evening snack, all to finish in time and present you with this.
Eric, check this out. Beautiful, marvelous. But how did you do it so fast?
It was actually quite easy. Let me show you.
So this program is turning on these 4 LEDs one by one in order. It's actually quite simple. It uses this Arduino to control and turn on and off each LED. So in the program, what happens is each of these pins is hooked up to one of the pins on the LEDs. Then those LEDs are connected to resistors, which are all connected back to ground. So when the Arduino puts out a signal on any one of these pins, it can light up the LED or turn it off. So by turning on one at a time and going down the row, we're able to make this chasing pattern of LEDs. Now here's our program.
But how did you write it so fast?
Well, it was actually very simple. There are libraries where you can just find the code that you want to run, so you don't even need to know how to write it. I used Cousin Grok to write this. Now this code just turns on and off each of these pins on the Arduino and controls our LED circuit.
Sublime!
The case of the missing microcontroller came to an end.
Tea, anyone? Have you got any biscuits? Sublime!
But was it dramatic?
Yeah, I think they succeeded with that.
Maybe they went overboard.
I think so too.
I thought it was great.
It was.
You know, I thought it was Malachi.
You sure think it could be?
I knew it wasn't Claudia. She's too sweet. But I don't know. Cody. Well, so the Arduino is an amazing device. And that's a brand name, but a lot of people have put a lot of effort in. And you can get programs and little component boards to do almost anything. I want to give you an idea that might trigger in your brain something you come up with. I showed a few episodes back the Acellus floating light bulb. Remember that? It's a light bulb and it just floated. And it would light up.
Right.
Okay. If you haven't seen that, you can go back to that episode. But anyway, how do you make a light bulb float? Or how could you make a globe of the world float? Or how could you make any little particular toy you have? The first rule to do it the way we do in the light bulb is it's got to be made of something that's magnetic. Or you have to have a magnetic system in it. There is a little teeny circuit board, an accessory for the Arduino that you can get. They're very inexpensive, a couple dollars, and it plugs into the Arduino and you wire it up, and it's called a Hall effect sensor. And what that device does is it detects the presence of a magnet field. If a magnet's close to it, so there's a magnetic field, then it detects it. And as you move it away, it detects that the field's getting weaker, and then it's gone. So you put a magnet in the thing you're trying to float, put an electromagnet up above it, and if the magnet gets too far away and the field's gone, you tell the Arduino it's getting too far away. The Arduino says, what am I supposed to do when it's too far away? So it looks at your program, it says, turn on the big electromagnet to pull it back up. And so it does that so fast, it doesn't wobble, it just floats.
That's neat.
And you can do that real easy with an Arduino. You can do all sorts of clever things like that. So think a robot, you want to lift an arm, you want to flip pancakes. And now it's time for the big reveal. What have you come up with?
Oh, I want to make butterfly move its wings and fly.
Butterfly.
A butterfly.
A butterfly. Move its wings and fly. Now,
yeah.
This
I'm going to
is
use the Hall
interesting.
effect with it.
This is interesting. Tell us more.
So it's like your light bulb, and it goes up and down. You can't see it.
So it's floating.
Yeah, it's floating.
And it moves its wings,
Yep.
which it could do. Another supply you can get is something that'll mechanically move the wings.
Yeah.
And you could move the wings with a motor, a little motor, we call them an actuator, like in a robot, or you could do it with a piece of special wire, memory wire,
Yep.
that you just, when you want the wings to close, you just run a current through the wire. It would get hot. When it gets hot, it remembers to go shorter. And then you can use another memory wire to pull them back open. All right, she's got an idea. If you want to order a Pajet butterfly, then write her a message to encourage her on.
Oh my.
But if you really want to get me excited, then come up with an idea of something that could be made if you had this little amazing microcontroller. Now, I'm going to show you my idea.
Okay.
I have made many, many products with these little devices. This little device has a microcontroller, a few components around it, and it has a USB-C connector. And it fits into a cable through the USB port, or it can go directly into a computer. But the thing about this is it is a near-field sensor. So here is a card. I'm gonna put this card right here and see if it's upside down. Here we are, can you see it?
Yeah.
It says Acellus, and on the back it says, yeah, it's GoldKey certified. This card has another microcontroller inside it, which we use to authenticate that a person that's going to use a computer for Acellus is the person they say they are. And we also make another version of this card, which is like this. This is a USB key, and in fact, inside of this key is the very circuit, or the very same kind of controller that I use in this one. This one is a reader, and it reads when the card is close. All right, so what can I do? I can plug this into the computer, and when I go to sign in, I just get my ID card and swipe it close. And for extra security, we pump in a pin. So we have 2 factors to prove that it's you, and then you can study. Next year, people are talking like we will not be able to study at home and get an accredited degree unless we have some way to prove that all the students did original work. So, hence this new card. I'm going to put it here again so you can see it. This card is an Acellus card, and you have an Acellus ID that you use to sign in when you do an exam or something, a special sign-in, and it will guarantee that it was you, and people will trust your degree. I'm going to flip in here this little circuit board, and if you look, this little circuit board has 20 of these little circuits on it. And this is how we make them. We make them all on one board. Then we have a laser cutter that cuts them out. And then we snap them into these stainless steel cases. And since we call them gold keys, stainless steel is silver, we had to do something. And so I tried putting gold plating on them so they'd be pretty. And they looked real pretty for about the first month. But then every time you touch them, you rub off some of the gold, and they started looking real sloppy after even a month. So I figured I need something that looks like gold that'll make them pretty, but it will last longer.
That's right.
And so I started looking and thinking and thinking and lurking, and I was at the hardware store buying drills. And the bad thing about drills is they get dull, especially if you're drilling a lot of metals or worse.
Or worse?
You know, like granite. And there was one drill that was far superior. And the thing that made it hold up longer without getting dull is it had a special gold coating. And so I started studying that coating. They were more expensive, But the coating was a material called titanium nitride. And that stuff is really tough. It's so tough that it can protect a drill so that it will last longer. Well, to put titanium nitride on something like this, you have to vapor deposit it. That means you have to put the thing inside of a vacuum, and then you have to heat it up like a furnace, and then you have to spew out a vapor of the titanium nitride and let it distill on there. And so I bought a machine to do that from Germany. And aren't those pretty? And now you can't rub it off.
That's really neat.
And they stay pretty. So you could use this to sign in if you want, or you can use a card, or you can use both. My goal is to make the internet secure by using this GoldKey technology. So once you have a card like this, you can use it to sign into Acellus, but you can also use it to sign into Amazon or 7,000 other websites. And you don't have to remember a password. And passwords are how a lot of people are compromised the internet. For you guys that are a little more techie, this also eliminates the man-in-the-middle attack. For the last 18 years, we have been providing GoldKey security devices to the United States military to protect their resources. And now we're getting ready to go big time. Our Acellus parents and teachers are using GoldKey authentication to sign into Acellus and have been for the last 5 years. A lot of them are using the last generation tokens. They're not this pretty, but they work. Some are using the cards, and this little device will make it so we can make a reader so you can plug it into any computer and have a card, sign in. Microcontroller. This one isn't an Arduino. This is a smaller one. It's actually more affordable than an Arduino, but it's one that was perfect for this application. If you learn how to use microcontrollers, you're going to have a lot of fun. I guarantee it. Another thing, if you look, even on a shopping place like Amazon or somewhere, you can look up an Arduino, but then look up the accessories. I bought, for my home, Area 51, I bought the Monster Kit.
The Monster Kit?
Yeah, that's what they call it, the Monster Kit. It has like 75 different little accessories that you can hook up to your Arduino to measure how much rain fell last night, or to make a siren noise, or to detect someone coming in, or every time the cat comes by it'll spook him, or to take a picture every time a fox goes by.
Yeah.
Or to power a butterfly as it's levitating.
That's right. It's a social butterfly.
A social.
That's right. It makes you feel
Roger good. That. So, speaking of social, everybody knows what that is.
Yeah.
It's a word that was invented by necessity. She was filming, she couldn't say social emotional.
That's right.
So she said social, and she couldn't fix it. She couldn't fix it. So she gave it a definition.
Yeah.
And there you go. Define all your mistakes. We'll catch on.
That's right.
Well, I've been working this whole week to see if I could make R51 be a little bit more social. I think he's getting quite silly, and I know that that's turning off a lot of us, especially the grandparents. And so I said, hey, if you want to be part of this operation, you got to quit being so silly. So let's see how well he does.
Okay, let's watch.
Well, the Big R wants me to teach a lesson today here in Area 51. And he says, R51, you need to stop being so silly. So I'm not going to be silly today. I'm going to be very serious. And he wants me to teach you about Arduino. And here he is. This is R-Draino. Hello. And he's my little friend, and I'm going to teach you how to do Arduino. So first of all, most important, you got to learn to listen to your little guy. He may be little, but he's got feelings, and if you don't listen to him, it could hurt his feelings. So let's see what he has to say.
Hello, little guy. He wants me to say hi to all you kids out there. So what's going on? He wants our help. What? Well, that just doesn't make any sense at all. He says that he wants us to teach him something. Well, of course we will. He wants us to teach him how to catch an alligator. Alligator. Now that's a strange request. Do any of you guys know how to catch an alligator? Okay, I'm going to have to search the internet to find out how to catch alligators because this is brand new to me. So hang on for just a minute while I search the internet. I got it. I know how to search alligators and I'm going to teach you guys. But you gotta have some things. If you want to catch alligators, you gotta have some tweezers. And you gotta have a matchbox. These are the best kind. These are our matches. And they're the very best one. Don't go for anything less. And then you gotta have a book. And it can't be just any book. It's gotta be a very boring book if you want to catch alligators. That's what you need. And then, you know what these are? Oh, these are binoculars. And when you look through these, you can see lots of things. So you gotta have some of those too. Now, little guy, if you have tweezers, matchbox, very boring book, and you have these glasses, then you can catch an alligator, okay? Well, of course we'll tell you how to do it. It's really easy. So what you do is you go out by the water where the alligators live. There's lots of alligators there. And so you just kind of hunch down by the water in the grass, and then you get out your very boring book and you just start reading it. And you read it and you read it. But you see, the problem with this book is it's very boring. So as you read it, you start getting really, really sleepy and you fall fast asleep. That's the problem with a very boring book. And so there you are sleeping. And the alligator, he comes along and he comes up out of the water and he sees you and he's coming over to get you. But then he sees the very boring book. And so he's curious. He picks it up and he starts reading in the very boring book, but it's a boring book, and so the alligator falls asleep. But now, here comes the science, because see, you fell asleep first, so you're gonna wake up first. So you wake up first, and you clear the sleepers out of your eye, and you see the alligator right there sleeping, and you, oh my goodness. And so then, what do? You get your matchbox, and you have to open it up, see, like that. And then you get your tweezers. Yeah, you get your tweezers. But the alligator is so big. So that's why you have the binoculars. You look at the alligator with binoculars like this. Whoa! Oh, it made him really big. But don't worry. You just turn around backward. Oh, that little cute alligator. And then you just pick him up and you put him in the matchbox. And then you got him. You know how to do that. Now you can go catch your alligator, because the kids and me, we taught you how to do it, didn't we?
Well, that didn't work so well, did
He's
it?
pretty silly still. Maybe it went the other way.
Maybe you need to invent a stronger word.
Social or silly?
I don't know, something good.
Okay.
So we just have 1 minute. Do we have any ideas coming in yet?
We don't have a lot of ideas. Oh, well, we have one about detecting bacteria.
Let's hear it.
Well, I gotta find it because there's so many more comments.
It's really fun to get these ideas, but you know what? You may not get a bullseye idea. You may just get close, and then as you study it and you think about it, it gets better and better and better. But I'm challenging you to come up with something that you could build if you had a little electronic brain that could take feedback like from the Hall effect sensor or from a light sensor. There are even some that have ultrasound sensors that you can put on this thing. There's just so much you can do. So let's start being inventioneers, okay? And I'm going to challenge the inventioneers. Can we get a camera on them? I want you guys, every single one of you, even you, Claudia, I want you guys to invent something that you could do with an Arduino. Sound good? All right, well, we've run out of time, but look forward to seeing you next time. Till then, please study, 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 study like your life depends on it, because it does. Thank you.